Hey everybody, I'm out in my garage, not in front of the grill this time. I know you guys know I love barbecue, and it's just something I use to like settle my mind. You can just drink a few beers while you're babysitting a brisket, and then just kind of clear my head. But I started a project not too long ago because I'm eating too much barbecue, right? So I needed something else to do, right? So I bought a Mandalorian outfit, full armor set, it's 3D printed, and matter of fact, here's my helmet, or bucket as they call it, and you can see I've really beat that up, yeah. But that's not what I came here to talk about. I was out here working on that, and my music, which is tied to my phone, stopped. It was over the weekend. And so I look at my phone and it's dead. And so I plug it in and I figured, you know what, let me check the battery health, because I don't think I've ever done that on this phone. And Apple does a really good job of explaining what your battery health is. And they go into a lot of detail, right? And they call it chemical age. And they do a really good job of talking about the factors that will affect your battery life. Yeah. And it's such a great parallel when we start talking about energy storage systems. Okay, so the things that happen in your little phone are the same things that are going to happen in an energy storage system that you have in your home. Same thing, just on a smaller scale. When I looked at my battery health, and you can see here, it's at 83%, and that is a very specific value, okay? Now, everybody knows that number that's up in the top right part of your phone screen, right? It's a percentage, and everybody knows, oh, well, that's, how much, battery life I have left. In the battery world, that's called state of charge, and it's always expressed as a percentage. And the state of charge tells you how much energy you have left on the charge. Now, when you go into your phone, and Droid users, sorry, I don't know where to go on that, but I'm sure they have the same thing. But when you go into your battery health on an iPhone, for example, and it says battery health, they're actually giving you half the word for what that percentage is. And you can see mine here is 83%. In the battery world, we call that state of health. And Apple gives a really good definition of it. But essentially, it's the remaining capacity that is in your phone that it's able to deliver. Yeah? And so over time, the available amount of energy that it can deliver starts to degrade. Yeah? And so even though, and we know this, right? Like when you go on a trip and you don't have your phone plugged in, when you first buy your phone, you probably have 6-8 hour charge, right? Depending on what you're doing. But then 3, 4, 5 years later, it's like you have to keep the damn thing plugged in all the time. Otherwise it loses the battery capacity so much faster. And so that is what is happening. So even though you charge that up to 100%, the available amount of power that it is able to provide is degraded, and you just don't get that time. And so that's what people mostly think about state of charge as, whether it be for a phone or for a battery system. It's time. How much time will I have when the grid goes out and my batteries are fully charged? And people that watch my videos, you already know what the answer to that, right? It depends. And what does it depend on? Well, it depends on the same things that affect your phone. Yeah? So the more apps you have on in the background, right? The quicker your phone dies. Yeah. The leaving it on that little holder on your dashboard where the sun's beating down on it, that affects it. Yeah. And I'm sure some of us have left our phone on a car seat or out on a table next to your grill when you're out grilling all day, and your phone dies, right? It goes blank because it's trying to protect itself against the heat. Well, excessive heat starts to degrade batteries. And it doesn't matter if it's your phone on your dashboard or if you have a battery system for a residential or commercial system that's out in the hot sun. It's just not a good idea to put batteries in direct sunlight or in hot areas, right? They need a lot of ventilation. It's just good to keep them cool. And that's not rocket surgery, right? I mean, that's for anything. Electronics don't like heat. And so battery, it particularly degrades battery life if you heat them up. If you are thinking about getting an energy storage system, or you have one, then all of this stuff is relevant. The more lights you have on in your home, the more large loads that you run, like air conditioners or pool pumps, well pumps, water pumps, sump pumps, those things take a lot of energy, and the longer you run them, the faster your battery will go down. Now, there's a sweet spot for lithium ion batteries. Yeah, like most of them like to be the state of charge. They like to be kind of in that middle 80% or 60% range of their capacity. What I mean by that is from about 20% state of charge up to 80% state of charge is where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. And there was a study by DNGVL. They do one every year. It's a battery report. Sorry, I don't remember the name of it. I'll link it here though. And they show all of these batteries, like 16 or 18 of them. They don't give the names, but they show you the battery performance of these things over time, and it is fascinating to look at. And when you look at them, the overwhelming majority of them like to be in that mid-range, right? They don't like to be fully charged. Of course, they don't like to be fully discharged. Yeah, and so that's the sweet spot, but it's like preferred rates at a bank, right? You may prefer it, but you ain't gonna get it. And so what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to tell the homeowner on this $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 investment, oh, don't charge your batteries all the way up in case the grid goes down. You want to keep them between 80 and 20% state of charge. Okay, that's probably manageable with a smart panel and some really sophisticated load management. But in general, that ain't happening. They're going to run those loads. They're going to charge it up as much as they can, because if the grid goes down, they want a full battery. Right? So just keep that in mind. There's all kinds of things we can do, but the best thing that you can do to ensure battery life of your energy storage system, not your phone, but it's the same things, right? Keep them out of the sun. Make sure you get a good, reputable brand. And what I mean by that is a good battery management system, right? All lithium-ion batteries need a battery management system. And for the lead acid people out there, the BMS is the same thing as sort of a charge control, if you want to equate it to something. Yeah, the battery management system controls the battery charging and discharging behavior. So you want to make sure you're getting a good one, not one that somebody made with a bunch of Radio Shack parts, right? If that's even a relatable example anymore. And then make sure that you really pay attention to your loads. And a lot of battery management system features include a low cutoff, right? They're not going to let you go all the way down. They'll cut it off somewhere between 7 and 10%. If you want to be a little more conservative, you can change that lower level setting to 15 or 20%. Yeah? So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I talk about this a lot in my book, The Battery Powered Home, which you can get on Amazon. And I would really recommend picking that up and giving it a read. It's an easy read, but I go into a lot of this stuff that people just seem to either know and then forget, or they make too many assumptions and they don't really get how these battery systems work. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you.